What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. And today is a tough video to make, but honestly I've been wanting to make this video for a while. So what I'm gonna do first is explain where I'm at in my treatment, and then tell you guys what I'm thinking about and where I want to go next. So um, I have the partial sacralization at the L5S1. I was born with that. And I did a lot of weightlifting over time, definitely some bad deadlifts, and also then had a car accident. And my L4-5 disc was completely just black and fucked. So I got a bunch of opinions. This is in 2017, a year after the car accident. I had tried, therapy, injections, and so forth, and it was just getting worse. So got a bunch of opinions. Actually, got like 5 different opinions. Ironically, 5 different top surgeons. I'm in Miami. All had different surgeries that they wanted to do on me. Eventually, I wound up getting a fusion, a T-lift in May of 17, and it was super painful. The recovery was ridiculous. I could barely sit in a chair for 2 or 3 months. Was walking very slowly, but after about 6 months, I did feel a lot better, and I had a good amount of relief. Um, Fast forward, I lost a bunch of weight that I had gained, was feeling good, starting to get active, starting to play golf, and I guess about 2 or 3 years later, the pain came back very badly. Um, Wound up getting some imaging done, and it turned out that one of the screws was cracked from the fusion, and it was pretty obvious that I didn't get a clean fusion. I had like a partial fusion. So my doctor, my same surgeon, went in. He thought, maybe the screws are causing the pain. I had another doctor that I know. I'm lucky because I'm an injury attorney down here in Miami. I have like 10 different surgeons' cell phone numbers, so I can have easy access to them. So I spoke to 2, and they said, let's maybe try taking the screws out and see if that's the pain, because the screw is loose. So I wound up taking the screws out. It was a surgery, but it was relatively minor. It didn't really change the anatomy of anything too much. And actually, nothing changed. Actually, the pain got worse because one of the screws on one side was actually still stabilizing my spine, and he took all of them out. So I had less stability after that. Went back to him after a few months, and that was in May of 22. Went back to him after a little while and told him, I don't know what to do. I kind of lost confidence in that surgeon at that point. Started talking to a bunch of other surgeons, and it seemed like the only answer for me at that point was to do a revision fusion anteriorly. So like I said, my first fusion was a T-lift, which means all from the back. So I have 2 scars on my back. I would put a picture, but if you know, you know, so I don't need to do it. Also, my editing skills aren't that good yet. So did a revision, decided that after speaking to a few surgeons, they said, I think this is your only option, really. You can't do anything else besides this. I had injections at the 3-4 because my 3-4 disc doesn't look great, but the injection at the 3-4 didn't really change anything. All my pain is coming from the 4-5 region. I mean, I can pinpoint it right there. It's right where the surgical scars were. And so I decided that, the pain must be coming from the instability, from the lack of the fusion, non-union. So wound up getting a A-lift and an A-lift procedure. So with fixation after the A-lift from the back as well. So I found a new surgeon who does a lot of revision work down here. He was very confident that he knew that would fix my problem. And so, I love that he was confident, and he went in, he did 3.5 hours from the anterior, from the belly. So I have like a 6-inch scar below my belly button. He cleaned out all the partially grown bone that was there and put in a new cage, took out the old cage that was kind of loose, put in a new cage in, put screws in from the front. and then flipped me over and added and put some new screws in from the back as well, which was also the consensus. I spoke to a couple of surgeons, and when doing a procedure like this, that seems like what has to be done. So that was like a 5.5 hour surgery. It went very well. The recovery was pretty brutal because that approach from the front is overwhelming, but the actual recovery from like day 4 to day 30 was way, way, way less than the T-lift. I guess this is pretty common, so just as a side note, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, to my overall life situation, but the A-lift approach, because I guess they don't have to cut through as much bone or as much muscle, it's just much better recovery. So I was like bending and walking and I was very mobile starting at like week 1 or 2. But I was still having a lot of low back pain, and I was still taking Percocets. So I started coming off the Percocets after like a month, and my low back pain was just as bad as it was before. It felt like basically the surgery didn't do anything. Um, it's hard to say when you're dealing with surgery and pain, like, is it worse than before the surgery? Is it better? I don't think it's better. I don't know if it's worse. It's probably the same. It feels like it's the exact same pain as before. We've done a few injections to the 3-4 since the surgery. The A-lift revision was in November of 22, and I'm filming this March 7th of 23. So we've trying to figure out exactly what might be causing the pain. Again, my pain is still concentrated in exactly the 4 or 5 region. If I just reach back there and point to it, not knowing exactly where it is, I've done it with my wife and with one of the doctors. All my pain is coming from the 4 or 5 region. At least that's where I feel it. I know it can be a little bit misleading in your brain where you think your pain is. Like if you have radiating pain in your leg, it could be just from a disc in your spine. But I don't have any radiating pain really. I just have chronic debilitating pain in the L4-5. I can't really stay still in one position for too long. And even laying down in my bed is very painful. After a half an hour, 45 minutes, I have to switch positions, lay on my side, whatever. So luckily I can sleep, because laying on my side is a functional position that I could sleep. I have to switch from side to side every hour or two, but I can sleep, and so that's the only good thing of the whole situation. But I'm still taking Percocets on and off. I'm taking basically like the minimum, like 1 pill a day, 1 5 milligram pill a day at the end of the day when like the day has worn me down, just to help me like relax and not be so irritable with my family. But I have gone through, so that's kind of like the medical history of where I'm at with my back. I've had basically 3 surgeries, 2 real surgeries, and then just 1 hardware removal. So I'm pretty much about 6 years into this process. 7 if you count the first year of treatment, but 6 years from the fusion. And I mean, over the last 6 weeks, so when the first 6 weeks after surgery, you're taking the pills, you're in recovery mode, you know you're going to be in pain from the surgery, so you're not thinking so much about, okay, like, did the surgery help me? You're just like, okay, I can't really evaluate it yet. But then once 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks have gone by, and you have good mobility, and you stop taking pain pills, and the pain is still there, then reality starts to set in. And for me, I started to feel like, okay, I've done this major revision surgery. There's basically nothing else on the table now from my perspective that I could do. So I'm sitting there in agony, in pain, thinking this is what I have to deal with for the rest of my life. I have 2 young kids, 41, and I'm in so much pain that I'm extremely limited in what I can do. So you start going, at least for me, I started going to a dark place, laying in bed, just getting depressed, feeling hopeless, and, gaining weight too from the sedentary aspect of being in pain all the time. I am able to walk, but I can only walk for half an hour, 45 minutes before it gets really painful, and I have to sit down, and then sitting down gives me pain, and then I have to lay down, and then laying down gives me pain. So I'm at a position where I just have to constantly be like switching positions. So I think I was, to some extent, I was just feeling extremely hopeless. I was crying, by myself with my wife, and just really, really, really struggling. Um, Wound up asking the doctor for another bottle of Percocets, which I'm trying to be like as sparingly as possible with. I don't think they're actually doing too much now for me. I think I've kind of settled in at a point where just use them to take the edge off a little bit, like I said, at the end of the day. But so I started researching, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I went online and I started, like, someone told me about the spinal cord stimulator, which basically, from where I was at in like the overall spine treatment plan for like failed low back surgery, it seems like that's probably my only option. Although my surgeon wants me to try an ablation, 3/4 like facet ablation. He thinks that's maybe where the pain is coming from. It just feels to me like that's not going to work. So I just don't want to get any. I've already done, like I said, I've already done a few injections. They didn't really help me at all. They didn't really. I feel like they didn't really help diagnose what's going on either. So I said to myself before, I kind of like, you know, was feeling super hopeless and depressed for a few days, for a few weeks, about a month ago, and just talked to my wife and said, and I was trying therapy too. I think the therapy was actually making it worse. I did like a full month, 5 days a week of light core training therapy with a local guy here, and honestly, it didn't help at all. And it just felt like I was irritating the low back even worse, and it was just becoming more painful. So I stopped that. So it's kind of where I'm at. I did kind of like have a come to Jesus moment, or whatever you want to call it, a few weeks ago, where I basically just said, like, yeah, I could look into the spinal cord stimulator. It looks like a lot of people get relief. Like some people have life-changing relief from that, but I've also heard some bad stories. Seems kind of like a easy way out. And you could always just take it out if it's not good, right? So it's something that I was considering, but I made a promise to myself that I said, look, before I do anything, and my back's starting to hurt now because I've been sitting for like 20 minutes, so it's hard for me to concentrate. But before I do anything else invasive, like with modern medicine, I'm going to lose weight, And when I started thinking about losing weight, because I am 5'10", 5'11", and I was about 216. It's been getting higher, as you can imagine. When I was like healthy, and the fusion was working well, and I was pretty much pain free and going to the gym a lot, I was down to like 180, like low 180s, like 183, 184 with the muscle. So I was in pretty good shape. Now I'm like when I was at this recent depressed kind of state, I was like 216, 217. And so I made a promise that I'm gonna just lose a bunch of weight before I make any decisions about anything. And throughout that process, I've been researching fasting. I've always been a guy who can do fasting. I like fasting. I think it's amazing for you. But I've been researching the possibility of possibly doing a extended fast. And so I watched like one video on YouTube about fasting, and now YouTube suggests me like 20 videos, and 2-day fast, 3-day fast, 40-day fast for medical. I know a lot of people report that it can cure cancer. There's an institute in, I think it's Arizona, where they're doing a lot of overseeing they have like fasting clinics, which is amazing. So that's where I'm at now. I'm doing actually very well. I'm still in like a ton of pain. I don't think that I've had any like drastic pain relief from eating better. I've been eating a lot better. I've been fasting longer hours, and I'm losing weight. So I'm down to, I weighed in this morning at 206, so I'm down about 11 pounds. And I've been fasting a lot, and completely cut out all alcohol. cutting out all processed foods and trying to just do that. So, you know, that's where I'm at right now. I wanted to share my story because I know some people, there's a community of people online and YouTube that have suffered from failed back surgery, and you can't really talk about this topic with people that haven't suffered from it because it's like just a worthless endeavor, with the exception of maybe surgeons that are highly trained and have treated people. But like if you talk about back pain with people who have never had it themselves, there's no point. They're gonna just say stuff that makes you feel worse because they just have no idea what it's like. So I want to make this video basically for that reason. I know people will see it. I know people will comment on it because there's nothing in the world like suffering from chronic low back pain, and that's what I'm dealing with right now, and I'm on a journey to see where I go. I'm not against the spinal cord stimulator. I just want to make this promise to myself that I'm going to try and heal myself like from within, not for like some kooky reason, just like I've had so many surgeries now and I've been through so much that I just owe it to myself to at least get down to like 180 or 175 and exercise and eat right and eliminate all the toxins from my life. So that's what I'm doing. Anybody watches this video and has any experience to share with me about what they've done, or if they did have the spinal cord stimulator, good or bad, please share it in the comments below or point me in the direction. If you have a video that you've made about your experience, let me know. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, so I'm really happy that now it's going to be out there. And yeah, so hopefully, you know, I'll be under 200 soon. It's been about 2 weeks, so I'm down like, or maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm down to 11 pounds in that time, which is great. And just that alone makes me feel better, like from like a depressed perspective. Might not eliminate the back pain yet, but definitely feels better. So my hopelessness is starting to fade away, and I'm feeling some hope, but it's a slippery slope. I got to be very, very careful, I think, right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And if you made it this far in the video, I think there's a pretty good chance you're probably suffering from the same condition as me because, like I said, no one else cares about this stuff because it really is an affliction that you can't understand unless you've had it yourself. So have a good day, guys. Hope you're on a path towards healing too, and I'll see you soon.